All right. Today we're taking a look at the last section for customers, which is going to be chapter 13, estimates and invoicing. Okay, so in this case, if you're following along with me in the book, it says here that you need estimates 21. Okay, I already have it up. So what does estimates do for the company or for a company, right? So if you remember way back when, customers have the possibility to possibly request or question about the products and services that you provide, okay? And we call those bids, estimates, or even quotes even, okay? So especially when you have a service type of company, you know, for a customer to actually kind of, do some shopping around, right? It's possible that they could do some research and they can call your store and ask for, how much is it for your services? What do you guys offer, et cetera, et cetera. And they can look into your company and compare your company with another company, right? It's just shopping around. So that's what an estimate can do. Estimates are considered a potential sale. Is it a guaranteed sale? No, because, a person who gets a quote from you doesn't necessarily have to agree with what you offer. They could say, let me think about it, and then sometimes they'll end up going with another vendor with the other person instead. But that's okay. It's not like estimates actually do anything for your company, right? It's just a means of collecting customer information and possibly, like I said, it's a potential sales, not a guaranteed sale, okay? However, when you do enter in estimates, and let's say the customer does agree, then you can easily transfer the information over into an invoice or whatever it is, a sales receipt, or in this case, it's most likely going to turn into an invoice because you have a potential to bill them, okay? Now, estimates, once again, is also another way, because you're collecting customer information, it's also another way to contact them, give them special offers, or it gives you a potential to bother them, maybe send them advertising, kind of pull your way to bring them into the company, right? Because again, it's a potential sale. Now again, oftentimes if those sales do not go through, the great thing about having a collection of them is it does not affect any accounts on QuickBooks. It's considered a non-posting transaction because, once again, it's not a guaranteed sale, but what you're building there is just a quote. All right? But it does help you save time in case at the end of the day they do proceed with the agreements and so on and so forth, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today's estimates. And it's going to be very, very similar to sales orders and so on and so forth, okay? Because sales orders, at least it's a customer that's telling you what they want, and it's a guaranteed sale because it's they want to order it from you. They're not requesting or questioning about your products or services. They want your services and they just are ordering it in advance, okay? So let's go ahead and dive right into estimates, okay? So here, like I mentioned before, I will be having all the files already pre-opened already, so we can just go ahead and get started. Okay. So now that I talked about estimates, let's actually talk about creating a estimate. Okay. So how do we create an estimate? Well, first, if you remember, that's actually one of the preferences that we're supposed to set up is, do we offer or have estimates in our company? If you do not have that preference turned on, you do have to go to your preferences and turn that on. So right now I have it turned on, but if you don't have it turned on, you would go to edit preferences, okay? And then you're going to go to the section where it says jobs and estimates. Go to company, and you're going to have to toggle that on. So here, do you create estimates? Yes. Okay. And we'll talk about progress invoicing in a couple sections from now. But right now, I have estimates, and yes, it's turned on. Okay. So here it is. It appears right here on our home page. Now, as you can see, it can have a couple directions, right? If a estimate, right, can either become an invoice or it can become a sales order, which then eventually becomes an invoice. So in this case, they're interlinked with each other because one is a possible sale, the other one is a guaranteed sale, and then at the end of the day, you end up billing them. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at estimates. So that's the first way. Okay. Any way that you decide if you have the estimates preferences on, it will target and have it right here on the menu bar. Okay. You can even go to the customer center and be able to create an estimate at the very top, right? You got estimates, right? You can right click them and create an estimate, okay? And of course, you can go down to manage transactions and also create an estimate there, okay? And of course, you can even go into the income tracker because it's a potential sale. So yes, you can also create estimates there too. Since I'm already here, that was 6 ways that you could enter in an estimate, right? So that's a home page, menu bar. Any way that you go to the customer center, you got 3 ways there, right? And then you have the income tracker there, okay? So here, I'm opening my estimates for the first time, okay? Now, an estimate is going to look more or less identical to an invoice because, again, it is more or less you are building a quote for an individual, okay? So let's go ahead and say who are we going to be doing this for, and it's going to be for the Garrison family portraits, and it's going to be on February 14th, Valentine's Day. So Garrison. So here we are ready. We already added Garrison John, okay, as a family portrait. Okay, so in this case, we have them already as a customer. But usually when you do estimates, you're not going to already create a profile for them. You're going to most likely going to have to either quick add or add them in real quick. Okay. What class do they belong to? I believe they belong to San Jose location. Again, we're doing it on the 14th of February of last year, so 2021. February 14, 2021. And your estimate number could be anything that you want. So again, usually the best way to do it is going to be, putting the year and then adding a 1. Now in this case, this one is the 14, but it's actually for the future. So yes, you can enter in transactions that are in the future. So in this case, they want to be able to take a photo shoot 5 years from now. Well, in this case, they're just looking for a potential reunion. Maybe it's a family reunion. Okay, so they want to look up for quotes so they can take a family reunion picture. Okay, so they're trying to look in a couple years in advance. So we're looking into 2025. Okay, so what do they want to get from us? Well, let's see. They said that they want to potentially, they could potentially want to have 4 hours of indoor photo sessions, 10 photo papers, and then 2 retouching services. Okay. Now in this case, right, I need to actually use a particular template, which is going to be the custom template, because in this case, I also want the ability to mark up. So in this case, on my quotes, they're not going to see this markup. But I do want to be able to mark up my prices because, again, maybe they are a commercial type of individual. They're not residential. So in this case, I have the ability to mark up prices if I choose to do so. So in this case, let's list out the items. Number 1 was indoor photo session. So in this case, there you go. I want an indoor photo session. How many do I want? I want 4 hours worth. Okay. They also want photo paper. So photo paper. And they want 10 of them. All right. And they want retouching. So retouching their photos, 2 hours. Okay. They want 2 of them. And then once you go here, we're going to go ahead and write a message to them. So again, because they are a potential customer, you can choose your message, thank you for considering, hope you choose us, or whatever way you want to entice your customers, go ahead and do so. Okay. And the memo is going to say 4 hours indoor, or in this case, you could even say family photo session. Okay. So now when you're looking at your total pricing here, this is your quote, right? But in this case, because they're ordering photo paper, I want to say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and mark their price up 25%. So in this case right now, it's only marked up 3%. So right now I originally charge them $12 per photo paper, but I want to mark them up 25%. So in this case, it is simple because you can either choose to mark them up at a standard price rate, or you can choose to actually do as a percentage. So you can type it in and then mark that you want this as a based on a sales price or based on a percentage, and I want this to be percentage. So in this case, I want this to be 25%. Okay. All right. Okay. So here you marked up the price. So it was originally $120. Now it's $150. Okay, because you marked up the price 25%. Okay, so now you built a estimate based on the services that they want. Now here's what you can do too. For each customer, you can build as many estimates or quotes for a individual. Okay, you're not subject to always have to use only one estimate, because that's the thing about quotes and stuff. They don't affect your actual company in regards to accounts or anything like that. Again, this is a non-posting transaction. So that means you can always build another estimate right after this, okay? And the reason why you can keep building is what if, because you're talking to your customer, right? What if you build another one and you did 5 photo sessions and 5 photo papers and only 1 hour of retouching, right? But then they decide, no, let me see the other one. Then you can pull up that one immediately instead of overriding it, right? So then in this case, right, you could build as many quotes because, again, at the end of the day, the customer wants to be satisfied with the services that you provide. So if you're going to be offering multiple, estimates or multiple quotes, you should be able to provide which one, and you be able to select which one in case they do agree on this one. You know which one they're going to select. So in this case, this is very, very common, especially like if you're going to like a school, right? You say, well, if this is your list of classes you're going to take. Well, no, I want to take this instead, or I want to take that instead. So you're building a schedule over and over and over again until the student or customer is satisfied. So in this case, right, that's exactly what we're doing here is we're just building so that the customer becomes satisfied with this, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click save. All right, save and close. So now that I built my estimate, right, how do I see that estimate again? Well, it's the same thing. If I go to my customer center, right, I'd be able to find my estimates by going to Garrison family photo. Right here, I have an estimate. Okay, I can pull up the information, and here it is right here. Okay, and it has everything that I put in here. All right. So now that I have this, right, if the customer agrees with the outcome, how do I process an invoice directly from an estimate? Well, again, the best way to do it is to go up to the top, and right here you have create the invoice, okay? Now, that's just one way that you could do it. You could also just go to the actual create the invoice button itself, and it'd be able to help you process it that way too. So if I were to close all my windows and decide I want to go ahead and create an invoice, right? And I type in Garrison family, and I want family photo, it's going to say, hey, you have an estimate. Would you like to pull the information from this estimate? You select it, I select OK, and boom. It pulls all the information from my estimate right over. Okay? So again, this is why adding information into QuickBooks is so crucial because, look, it makes it that much 10 times more faster to enter all the information. And look, it puts in the date, it puts in all the information, including thank you for your message or thank you for your business, and it includes the price of the markup without actually saying it's been marked up. Okay? So that's what's really cool about that. Again, you can either go straight into the estimate, and at the very, very top of the window, it says that you can create the invoice from there. But why do that when if I create the invoice and I type in Garrison family, it automatically says, wait. Are you sure you're not trying to pull information from an estimate? Or are you building another invoice besides the estimate? So in this case, yes, you can do that as well, right? If the estimate isn't what you're looking for, you can overwrite that and just not select the estimate and continue going forward. But look at that. It saved me that much more time, okay? Now, in this case, now that I've converted my estimate into an invoice, can I still create an invoice using my estimate? Yes. If Garrison family decides, okay, I like how this photo session comes out, I want to use you again for another family photo. But this time, we're going to choose a different theme. I want you to pull the estimate from the last photo session. Okay, yes, you can always build invoices upon invoices upon invoices. You don't see, watch, for example, right? I can go ahead and save this. And I can go ahead and create another estimate or another invoice. Type in Garrison, family photo, and there you go. I can create another estimate or another invoice using that same exact estimate. Okay? So that is what I mean, that you can keep building invoices over and over and over. And that's the best part of this too, is if you have a consistent customer who buys the same thing over and over and over and over again, save yourself time instead of having to write a whole entire invoice or sales receipt over and over and over again. Boom. Create an estimate and just use it over and over and over and over again. All right? And all you have to do is change the date and change the invoice number. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click no, because in this case, I've already saved that transaction. So let me go back to it. So Garrison family photo. Okay. That's branch opening. Garrison family photo. Here, I already processed the invoice. So in this case, there you go. Now, what if, you are processing the invoice and you don't actually provide all the services? So let's say maybe the photo shoot was really awesome and maybe the services for the retouching services, you didn't actually need to use up 2 hours. So what you're going to do is maybe you decided, oh, I did it within 1 hour. So I'm going to rightfully charge you only 1 hour of the retouching services. Okay? Yes, you can modify the invoice whenever you like. You're not bounded to charge your customers based on the estimate, right? You can make changes any given time. So in this case, right, if that was true, then I could say, well, maybe the photo session was actually shortened. Everything was done within 3 hours instead of 4. But in this case, that we wanted to show you that, yes, you can make changes to an invoice or the estimate at any given time. So if you provided less services, then charge your customers based on that. Okay? Now, of course, again, this is something you need to be rightfully honest with your customers, because again, don't be cheating your customers because you think you can. Okay? Especially because if you want this customer to come back to you, treat them right. Maybe give them the discount that even though you marked their prices up, offer them an additional discount so that they would feel more likely to want to come back to your location, right? Or come back and do some services for you. So in this case, I adjusted my, yes.
So I have a question, sorry. If it, like you said, we give them the discount, as in I am like the bookkeeping or the accounting for the company, is it this, I could like give the discount or the company need to give the discount?
In this case, depends on what your job is. If you're the commissioner, right? If you're based on commissions and you're just your job is to just get the customer in, then maybe you can do the discount on your own. But obviously, that has to be an option that the company says that you can do. You can't be just giving discounts because, oh, you're my family friend, I'm going to give you a discount under the table. Because at the end of the day, who are you working for? yourself or for the company?
Yeah, no, I just ask like if the like yeah, you answer like we need like permission or like to open our job, like we could be do it or not. If we are like commission, correct? If we are like working for the company or corporator, we can't do this.
Yes, but it's not just because you're a commissioner. But if the job policy says, I don't care how you get the job done, get the customer through the door. If you need to offer them. So again, a lot of sales representatives or people who are usually commission based, they try their hardest to try to get you to buy their products, even if you're on the border saying, let me have time to think about it. You know what? How about I give you 50% offer? Would that make you more inclined to buy it? And they might make the decision right then and there. So
Yes.
in this case, it could be a way that you can offer it to ensure that you do get a sale. So it just it depends on what your position is and if the company allows it. Okay.
Thank you.
So then yes, so here, right? In this case, we have the invoice, right? We made some changes, right? I made this invoice 2025-101 because this will probably be the very first one I have in 2025. Okay. And once you got that and everything is gone through and everything looks good and we made changes to the invoice, then okay, we could go ahead and click save and close. Yes, because in this case I already saved it. It's gonna say, do you want to make changes to this one? You say yes. Okay. And keep. Oh, we already have 2025-1. Let's see. Okay, I have to cancel. I have to make it not 101, but just -1. Yes. There you go. So there you go. I already saved my invoice. So then there you go. I just bill my customer. So then again, they can proceed with their day. Okay. So any questions here in regards to building estimates and convert them into invoices? It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward.
No, no question.
Okay. So next section I'm going to be talking about is going to be progress invoicing. What is progress invoicing? Progress invoicing is more or less a means where if you build a estimate, a quote, you can actually break down the invoice into sections, or you can break it down so you can bill your customer accordingly, right? So progress invoicing is more or less where you can take a big, huge project and then chop it down so it's much more easier to, process the invoicing, but it makes it easier for you to keep track of your own income as you go through each invoice. So a great example is if a project, okay? Let's say you need to do a building project, right? So when you do when you're trying to build a project, and let's say it's in a span over of a year, okay? You're gonna break that up into maybe you're gonna pay the company every quarter, so every 3 months to see what the progress has been completed. So the first maybe you send them the check right away so they can buy the materials, right? Boom. I could say I'll pay you for the first 4 months. Boom. Or first 3 months by buying materials, okay? And then now the next 3 months I'll pay you what you've already done so far. So if you build the building and you're only about like maybe a quarter or a third way done, I'll send you the second check. And then when you process going through and they're almost done building the building, you send them the third check. And then now you need to buy interior things to make your building look good, maybe, clean it up or do some paintings inside, then you pay them the last amount for that year to, you know, to do add some finishing touches to the building. That right there is a whole project, but I divided it into in terms of percentage wise or by sections of completion. So again, progress invoicing, right? How much progress or completion of the project did you complete for me to go ahead and bill you for? So again, if it's an ongoing project, you can split up this project and then devise it in a way where you can break it down into sections to see, well, did you complete this task? If you did, I pay you. Okay? So that is progress invoicing. Now, if you remember when I was turning on my estimates, there was a section right here that says progress invoicing. In this case, you need to manually turn them on. Now, in this case, when we were doing the interview, you were asked, do you do progress invoicing? And if you did not select yes because it recommended you to say no, then you have to manually turn it on. So in this case, right, the example says that I don't have progress invoicing turned on. So I'm going to go to my edit preferences. I'm going to go to jobs and estimates, under company, and on this section now it says, do you do progress invoicing? And we need to say, yes, we do. Okay? Then it's going to say, don't print items that have zero amounts. Obviously, straightforward. You don't need to say, oh, I'm going to charge you $0 for this. No. Yes. In this case, you should mark that off. So in this case, progress invoicing, yes, I do that. So then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And click OK. Now, of course, with progress invoicing, can I see it? Absolutely not. It does not appear on your homepage at all. You can't just say progress invoicing. Why? Because it is directly correlated with your estimate. So if you're going to try to look on the menu bar for progress invoicing, you're not going to find it. It is hidden within the estimate. So if you have estimates, that's the only way you're going to be able to access progress invoicing. Okay? So in that case, you have to build a quote first for you to do progress invoicing. So in this case, let's go ahead and do so. So if I go ahead and go into my estimates, all right, I'm going to go ahead and build an estimate for the Anderson wedding for Sarah and Michael. Okay, so Anderson wedding, Sarah and Michael. Okay, and they're also going to be doing it on the 14th, so February 14th, Valentine's Day for 2025. Okay. Now, what else do I need to do? So again, if you notice this, now it changed my estimates to 2025-2, which is perfect. Okay. And let's see what else I want to do. So in this case, I want to, so Sarah and Michael belong to the San Jose location. We're using the custom template. Okay. And let's see what kind of services I want to provide. So in this case, they want me to do 20 hours of outdoor photo sessions. Okay. And they want 20 photographers, and they want 40 photo papers and 4 retouching. So let's do that again. So again, they want 20 hours of outdoor photo sessions. So outdoor photo sessions. Okay. And they want 20 of them. Okay. And let's see, what else did they want? They wanted 20 photographers. Okay, so photographers, okay, they want 20 of them, okay? And then they want photo paper, okay? And they want a total of 40 of them and 4 hours of retouching. Okay. So now that, look at this right here. So after I built this, right, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mark up the photo paper once again, because in this case, we are going to mark them up 25% again, like last time. And I also want to mark up my photographers. So I'm going to mark up the photo paper 25%. And mark up my my photographers by 33%. In this case, it says, okay, so 2/3. So 2/3 is 66%. So in this case, there you go. It's already marked up for me that my photographers are 66% marked up. So in this case, it already saved it for me. So in this case, all I gotta do is just change the markup price for my photo paper, okay, for 25%. Okay, so now that I have that, what is going to be this right here? Thank you for your business. Okay, or in this case, what was the message there? Yeah, thank you for your business. Or please remit. Oh, okay, no, I just need to do that. And then last but not least, what is this going to be? Wedding photo shoots. Okay. Once everything looks good, right? I'm not gonna do save and close. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna click save at the top here. Now what it does is it just saves it. It does, but it keeps the page right on here. Okay, so I'm gonna click save. Okay. Now then it's gonna give you a credit limit warning, because once again, if you build any, if you have a credit limit, you can choose to override it. So in this case, I'm gonna override it. So there you go. I saved it. Okay. So now, how do I initiate progress invoicing? Well, I'm here at the estimate, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create the invoice from here by clicking the very top up here where it says create invoice. So if I go ahead and create the invoice right here, what's going to happen is it's going to ask me, well, do I want to create an invoice for the entire thing, or do I actually want to utilize progress invoicing and bill them for a section or a portion of the services? So in this case, I am actually going to do progress invoicing. So you can either do as two things, right? You can either break it down as a percentage, or you can do it based on the number of items that you choose. Maybe they only want the photo session to be done in one day, and then they want the photo papers to be the next day, and then the next day after that they want you to use that time to do retouching. Okay? In this case, I'm going to break it down as a percentage. Okay? So in this case, what do I want the estimate to be broken down into? I'm going to say 25%. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So now what it's going to do is it's going to create my invoice, and it's going to be based on 25% of the services. So again, I put in 20 hours of outdoor photo sessions, 20 photographers, 40 photo papers, and 4 hours of retouching. So in this case, that's broken down into 5 hours, 5 photographers, 10 photo papers, and 1 photo session. Okay, and if this is what it's gonna be, then that's exactly what you're gonna do. Okay, make changes there because again, this is for the future. Let's say it did happen on the 14th, and let's say this was day 1. Okay. Once everything looks good, right? Everything again, the markups are hidden. It's not going to be there again. So let's say this is day 1, and once day 1 has completed, and you said, okay, great, I'm going to build my, I'm going to build Anderson wedding. So I'm going to go ahead and click save and close. Okay. Now, let's say I want to go ahead and do the next one. Well, in this case, are you obligated to use the estimates? No. You can go create invoice, right? And you can do the same thing where I say I want the Anderson wedding, Sarah and Michael, right? Because that's the one that we just did, Sarah and Michael. Boom, you're going to get the estimate. I want this estimate, and I'm going to click OK. Here is your progress invoicing, the same exact thing that happened by going through the estimate. In this case, you'd be able to do the same thing as long as you're in the invoice, right? You don't necessarily need to have the estimate. However, what am I doing? I'm building it upon the estimated quote that I built for them. And I said I wanted to be based on 25% of what I put on my estimate. So I click OK. Now this time I can change the date because maybe it was the following day because maybe it's a 4-day event. So in this case, I'm going to change the date. It's now February 15th. And I'm going to say this is for day 2. But let's say day 2, 2 of my photographers decided decided not to show up because they fell sick. So in this case, I could say, oh, I'm so sorry, I only had 3 available. Okay? Again, you can make changes to this any single given time, but because the criteria here is what services did I actually provide? Well, in this case, day 2 comes around, 2 of my photographers decided to call in sick. So I'm not going to charge my customer for 5 photographers if only 3 showed up. Because then they're going to complain to me saying, hey, you charged me for 5 photographers, but only 3 of them showed up. So in this case, I'm going to say, well, 3 of them showed up because 2 of them called in sick. So I'm going to adjust their invoicing. So that means this time their invoicing is going to be a little less just because, again, it's progress, right? What was the services that was completed? In this case, 2 of my photographers failed to show up. So in this case, I have to adjust accordingly. All right. Once everything looks good, I can go ahead, click save and close. All right. Now it says they went over their estimate. Yes. Okay. So yes, you can build invoices as much as you'd like based on the estimate. Now, of course, you could even if the project is over and they say, hey, I want to use you again for this event and I want the same exact amount except I want it on my actual wedding day. This was just a photo session. You know how they have the weddings before the wedding? They take those professional pictures. Same idea here. Let's say they said, okay, my actual wedding day is going to be April something, right? I want you to show up with 20 photographers and it's going to be an all-day event, yada, 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 okay? You could build that off of that estimate and just adjust accordingly, okay? Any questions in regards to progress invoicing? Yes.
So, when you're saying like we can't create a new one, for example, they come in after 1 month and they want us to do like a baby shower or something.
Okay.
Can we use same this one or we need to create a new one?
Most likely, if this customer is coming back a month later, you should create a new estimate for them.
Okay.
Because again, one was a wedding, this one's a baby shower, right? You cannot you would have to kind of make adjustments to it, but again, if it's the same exact services, then yes, all you have to do is just make minor changes, right? You just have to change some things, some here, there. But again, you can build for one customer 20 estimates if you wanted to. And then whatever number that they agree on, you mark it saying, okay, they want estimate number 21 out of 25, estimate number 15 out of 20, right? You have to mark that down and invoice them accordingly. So in this case, you can build as many estimates. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to use that same exact one unless it's the same services. Then why build another estimate if it's the same exact one? But yes, you can make changes to the estimate at any given time, especially when you build them. So, is it necessary? The estimate is not for you. It is for the customer, okay? Because the customer must agree on what services that they want. Your responsibility is to just invoice them for what they want. Now, it just helps you save much more time if you already have the information ahead of time, so you just transfer it over. That's all that is right here. Okay? Right? Okay? Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Yes.
So when we have like this invoice and we want to go back in 1 month, like is it we save everything, like all our customer profile in like in a place, and when we need them, we just go to the like invoice or their profile,
Mhm.
like it's never gone or disappear after like certain time, or we need to set up the one.
In this case, no. The profile is forever there unless you go in, either delete that individual or remove them from your list. So yes, they're there forever.
And we have like a place for all these people, correct?
Yes, it's the customer center. Okay, so let's say here's my list of customers, right? If I want to hide some of them because they're just I don't if they don't ever talk to them anymore, or I don't do services for them, you can make them inactive, and then down here when you click on this little triangle here, you can actually see who's inactive and who's not active.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, you can hide your customers to a point, and then you can view all of them if you need to. So right now I have all active customers, but if I want to show all of them, including ones who are inactive, you'd be able to do that.
But we can't delete them.
You shouldn't delete them.
Mm.
Okay? They recommend you to just inactivate them. Okay. All right. So now that we have that whole section down, now the question is, can I create purchase orders based off of estimates? And what do you know? If you follow this line here and it goes up to sales orders, look, what do you know? Yes, you can. This is only available in QuickBooks Premier. Okay, it is not available anywhere else. I mean, like you if you have Pro, you will not be able to do this. But if you do it on Premier or Enterprise, yes, you absolutely can 100% do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that estimate, and then go ahead and show you what I mean by yes, you can make purchase orders. So I click on my estimates here. Who am I going to be creating this estimate for? It's going to be Miss Maria Cruz. Okay, for her, I could do it for her. Okay. And she is, I think she's, let's see. We got Maria Cruz. She's a San Jose, and the date's going to be the 19th. Okay. So San Jose. The services is going to be on the 19th of 2025. Okay. Estimate number 3, or whatever number that you are currently using. And we want to do custom framing. Okay. 1 premium package and 4 custom frames. Okay. So in this case, we got premium photo packages. Okay. We want we want one of them, and then we want 4 custom frames. So in this case, we want custom frames. Okay. So in this case, 1 is a service, 1 is an actual product we sell. Okay. Now in this case, I'm also going to mark up because in this case, right, what Maria Cruz is doing for me is she wants a custom made picture frame. Okay. It's not the standard one that we can just sell to her that we have on stock. She wants it customized. Okay. So in this case, right, because she wants it customized, as you can see, there is no price point for customization because it depends on what she wants. Maybe she wants oak wood or cherry wood, or maybe she wants it like, masked with burgundy. Maybe she wants it with glass, There's a lot of different things, especially when you are doing customization. You can't put a price point on customization because what if she wants embellishments on there, right? What if she wants a silver lining or a silver backing, right? What if she wants this and this and this, right? So in this case, customizing your picture frames can be variable on price because it just depends on what they want. If they just want a plastic frame with a plastic covering, right? That's obviously going to be significantly cheaper than building an actual frame out of wood with actual like glass. So in this case, right, we need to put in a price point for those custom framings. But in this case, we can't because we don't know what those custom framings are, right? It has to be priced whenever we receive the bill. So in this case, right, we want to make sure that when we're taking a look at this, we don't actually have a price point. However, what we can do is say, I'm still going to mark her up 25%. Okay, as percentage. Okay, so I'm going to mark her up 25% after I find out what that price point is going to be for me, okay? So in this case, just an FYI, you can toggle the price at any given time on any form whenever you'd like. It's not like you're bound to this. So in this case, I got 1 premium photo package and 4 custom frames that I marked up 25%. Okay? And you're going to charge her based on Contra Costa. Okay? And again, thank you for your business. And we got 1 premium photo package. Okay, maybe pack, and 4 custom frames. Okay. Once I have this right, once again, I'm not going to save and close. I'm actually going to go up to the top here and save it. Because what I'm going to do here is, if you notice this, right? Let's take a look at the top of my window here. Okay? At the top of my window, I have purchase orders. So in this case, what am I going to do? I'm going to click on purchase orders. So in this case, it's going to ask me, am I going to be purchasing all the items or am I going to be selecting items? In this case, right, one of them is a service, right, of a premium photo, or in this case, premium photo package is not a service, but you don't need to buy anything there because once again, you already have the premium photo package. So again, create purchase orders for all allowed items, or you're going to create one for selected items. In this case, you're going to pick and choose what items you are going to put on there. And then it says, does it say drop ship to customer? Do you want to send it to them? You can send it directly to them. In this case, no, I'm not going to drop ship to them. I'm going to have it come to my store and so on and so forth, okay? So now that I selected for selected items, I'm going to click OK. So it's going to ask me right here, it's going to ask me what items am I going to be selecting. In this case, we are only selecting custom frames. Now, who is our vendor? Ace Supply. So in this case, we saved in as our supplier as Ace Supply. Okay? And what am I buying from them? You can either, again, this is just what it's there. Okay? How many do you have available on hand? In this case, I'm trying to purchase 4 of them. So now once I selected that item, I'm going to click OK. And what's going to happen is it's going to create the purchase order for me. Okay? And let's say because it's for the future and I want this to be done, right, by 2025-1 for the purchase order, we're going to be custom framing. And what I'm going to do here is, what is the price point for the custom framing? When we selected the amount here, frame is going to be What does it say in your book? How much is each frame? Let me go ahead and check the book. So estimates, okay, we already talked about that. Progress invoicing, so we're on purchase orders.
Yeah, I don't have my book open.
Okay, so I got it right here. Purchase orders.
It's 25.
That's to mark it up. So right now it's $90 per photo. Okay, for a picture frame. Okay, so here we're gonna mark it's $90. Okay, that's what it cost me. Now, because I have the advantage because I'm the supplier or I'm providing this for my customer, I can choose to mark them up whenever I'd like. So in this case, for us, it cost me $90, but when I bill Miss Maria Cruz, it's going to be marked up 25%. So there you go. And right here, what you're going to notice here is it's being billed to this individual. And of course, you don't want to save this because it's a custom frame. You don't ever want to mess with that. So in this case, Maria Cruz, I'm going to bill Maria Cruz for this. Okay, and everything looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and save and close. Okay. Once I receive the items and I can go ahead and bill Miss Maria Cruz for this, that's where you're going to receive the bill and then you're going to invoice her accordingly. So once we have that, we looked at estimates already. So again, we already took a look at when we're going to bill her. So in this case, I can choose to say, I'm going to bill her now, right? And it's going to say, well, are you going to bill them for the whole entire thing? And yes, I am. So here you go. I have this, right? Okay. This progress invoicing of at least 1 0, and I'm gonna say okay, that's fine, because again, it's because I marked it as 0. Now, how much did it cost me? Well, it's supposed to be marked up 25%. So in this case, the custom photo frames were 90. Okay, so in this case, I don't have quick math on here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say $90 times 0.25%. Okay, and that should give me $22.52. 22, no. What was that? 90 times 1.25%. There you go. It's going to be $112.50 per custom frame. All right. So in this case, all right. Once that looks good, okay, then I can go ahead and save and close. So that's building and using purchase orders to be able to, once again, create orders based off of estimates. Okay. All right. So again, viewing estimates is pretty straightforward. You can go to, once again, if you build a bunch of estimates, how do you locate them? You go to the customer center. At the very top, you got transactions, and you'll be able to take a look at your estimates, okay? Here, I built one for Anderson Wedding, I built one for Maria Cruz, and I built one for Garrison Family. Now, again, the great thing about being able to utilize this section here when you look at your estimates is for those estimates that did not pan through, or you haven't heard for them, or you provided services for them and you need to contact them. That's exactly what this list does for you, is that you can look up all your estimates and contact all the customers that you haven't heard from or you built these estimates for. And again, it's a way to attract your customers, saying, hey, it's been a long time. Do you still want your photo session to happen? And so on and so forth, right? You're contacting them to ensure they want your services. But again, they can also deny you, right? Because when we're looking at estimates and quotes, it's not a guaranteed sale. So they could call you and say, no, I'm sorry. I've already, I found another vendor, or no, I'm not interested anymore, or no, it's too much. It's not right now, I don't need it right now. Whatever excuse that your customer gives you, right? It's not a guaranteed sale. But the more you build your estimates and quotes and bids and whatever it is, it gives you an opportunity to, gain a customer. All right? Okay. So now that we looked at viewing estimates, now estimates by jobs, again, you could do reports on this. So you can go up to reports and go to customers/jobs. Okay. Where's customers? Customers and jobs. Jobs. Okay. You could do a job report. Okay. You can even run a report on this. Okay. So again, it just really depends on what kind of what position you are in your company. So if you are in charge of potential sales, or you're just the sales rep in general, then your reports will be keeping track of your customers, whether they are a guaranteed or not type of ordeal. So you may have to run reports on those jobs and estimates. Okay. So jobs and time, right? You got estimates right here. Okay. You can go ahead and run that. Other than that, we got job versus actual some reports. So again, you guys can read your book on that. So any questions so far on what I taught? Okay,
No, not here either.
let's see. Okay, so we actually have one more section for this. So if you guys, right now, do you guys want to take a break or do you want to push through?
I'm fine with either.
Push through.
Push through? Anybody else?
I guess we can proceed.
Okay, yeah, this section, we're almost done with this section, so this should take me maybe like 20 or 30 more minutes left, and then you guys can go. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the last section here, all right, which is going to be customer deposits. Okay, so this is a great business tactic to try to get something out of a customer, especially if you're doing projects like this that can cost thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay, one way to kind of guarantee or to lock in a sale is to kind of, enforce a customer to pay either a portion of the actual services ahead of time. So we call these customer deposits, right? Think of any type of business out there, right? If they require you a down payment, they want to ensure that when you ask them for some kind of service and then the last minute you decide to bail out or drop the services, you call them up like an hour ahead, right, and say, oh, I don't need your services anymore. That way the company does not have to take a complete loss, especially when it comes to these kind of services, right? What you can say is when you put a down payment in, that ensures your spot, this day, and so on and so forth, right? Especially for wedding venues, right? You need to put a down payment first to save the date. That's the same essential idea here with customer deposits, okay? It's more or less a down payment. It's to ensure that whatever they agree on, they put some money down on there so that if in case an emergency or whatever happens last minute and decide to bail out, you don't take a huge fall for it. At least you gain 50% of the profit or whatever amount that you charged them for. Okay? So, very, very common business tactics because, again, we can't trust our customers, right? And again, customers, we have to think about that they have their own personal lives, especially if they're trying to book something that's kind of a far ways in advance. By them sending us a deposit, it kind of shows that they are willing to get this service, but they're not 100% sure yet because you never know. Anything can happen to an individual, right? So, how do we record customer deposits? Well, let's first talk about setting customer deposits up first in QuickBooks. So, if you do require your customers to pay a down payment, it's completely understandable. So, in this case, we need to first create an account first to be able to collect that kind of money. So in this case, right, we're going to go to my chart of accounts because I need to create an account first, and then I need to create an item for me to go ahead and use on their sales form. So in this case, I'm going to create an account, and it's going to be an other liability. So in this case, let's go ahead and create that. Why is this a liability? In this case, right, this is considered an unearned revenue, which is a liability because if a customer is paying you in advance for services you have not provided, what does that mean? That means you owe them services. You are obligated to provide that service. You can't expect your customers to pay you just 'cause. right? In this case, it's going to be considered a liability, right? Because you owe them service. They already gave you the money, you owe them. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a liability account. So, what kind of liability? In this case, it's not the most obvious one. So, I'm going to create this as a other current liability, right? Because most cases when you have these kind of services, they're not going to be like years in advance. So most cases, wedding photo shoots should not be more than a year in advance. But if it's like a wedding venue, yeah, that will definitely be. You should book venues at least a year in advance. Okay. But in this case, it's most likely going to be an other current liability, but it just depends on what kind of service that you provide. So I'm going to say it's going to be most likely a other current liability. It's not going to be more than a year that you owe this service to. So I go ahead and click continue. So now I need to name and title what this is. So in this case, it is going to be a customer deposit. Okay. And what account number is this? Because I have account numbers, it is going to be assigned as, let me see, customer deposit. Okay. It's going to be account number 23,000. Okay. And what's my description? Pretty straightforward. Advance payment for services, right? Or you could actually just write customer deposit. Okay. Once I've created this account, save and close. Here it is, a current liability. So again, if a customer decides to give me money in advance, I'm going to be using this account. Now, I also have to create an item for this account. Okay? Because in this case, I am in regards using items because I have to place it on my actual invoice and my actual sales receipt for it to go through, right? And anything that you deal with sales process, you must create an item for it. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and create an item by going to item and services. Okay? So now it's going to say, well, what kind of items are you going to be doing? You're going to be creating a new item. All right. What kind of item is it? It's going to be a service item. Okay. It's going to be a service item. Now, what do you want to name this? Right? Straightforward. Customer deposit. Okay. And it's going to be the same as your sales receipt on your sales form. Okay. Description, right? Advanced payments, or you could do customer payment, whatever it is, right? So once you fill this in, right, because we can't determine what that amount is it taxable? Obviously not, because it's a service. Okay, in this case, we don't actually know how much the deposit is. It could be 50% of the service. It could be $20. It could be $100, right? Whatever means it is, right? It's going to be different for per case scenario, right? If it's a $50 job, are you going to be claiming $25? You can, or you could tell them, give it all to me, or just pay me right then and there. Whatever, right? But if it's a $10,000 job, then you're going to have to weigh your options. Are you going to tell them, give me a $2,000 deposit instead of $5,000? Because $5,000 is quite a lot. Okay? So you have to, it just depends on what you think is appropriate to charge your customers for the deposit. Okay? For the down payment. So in this case, I'm going to link this, yes.
It does mean like when we have deposit, we don't put tax. They don't tax us.
No.
Oh, this is how I understand. Why we put like no tax?
Where does it say tax? Oh, tax
Tax.
code. Tax code is because a deposit. Okay. If someone's putting money down, do you charge tax on that?
This is what my question.
Are you okay? So in this case, if I decide to say, give me a down payment, can I charge you tax on that?
I ask you. I don't know.
In this case, no, you can't, because a down deposit is just whatever you agree to. So in this case, if the items and services already include tax and they say pay me 50%, no, you don't tax your deposit. No. You don't. It's just whatever the customer is agreeing to. If they're paying for the services right then. If the service includes tax, then the amount that the customer is expected to pay is going to already include that. Okay? But no, you're not going to actually physically tax your customers for depositing money to you. No.
But we pay the tax. Even they are like they pay us just the what is called the deposit, and they don't complete the service. We will pay the tax for on this deposit. Correct?
Correct. But it depends if they have so let's say we had they gave me a down payment, right? And there was taxable items. In this case, I would have to adjust my invoice because they didn't complete the services. So then you're going to also adjust the tax on that, right?
Okay, but we pay tax.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So in this case, because you don't tax deposits, right? You don't tax the money that the person's going to give you. It's going to be considered a service. It's going to be non-taxable. And the account that we're going to be linking this to is going to be the account that we just created, which was the customer deposits account. Okay. So now I can click OK. And now I have my service item at the top. So then when I do get a customer deposit, it's going to be reflecting accordingly. Okay. So now the next step is going to be creating a sales receipt. Because in this case, right, if I build a quote for them and they're giving me money now, right, as a down payment, then I'm going to record that as me paying at time of service. So I'm going to click on sales receipt, and let's see who is the person that is going to be doing this. Miranda's Corner is going to be creating the sales receipts in Miranda's Corner, Walnut Creek, for January 8th. All right, so Miranda's Corner, here they are. Okay, they belong to Walnut Creek, and they're doing this as of February. Let's say they make the deposit February. What did I say? February 7th? Oh, February 8th, excuse me. Right? Maybe the services is going to be on February 14th. So they say here, we're creating the sales receipt, and let's say they decide to give me a deposit for that amount for $800, and they paid with a Visa credit card. Okay, so paid with Visa credit card, Visa. Again, it could be any account number. So 1234-1234-4567 or whatever. Okay, as long as it's a digit code, and let's say it doesn't expire until December 25, and we click OK. Okay, so here you go. They're paying with a Visa credit card, and they're going to pay on the 8th. It is going to be 2025-103. Okay, And what are the items that they purchased from me is they gave me a customer deposit. Okay, for the total amount of $800. So quantity 1, the rate is $800. Okay? So you have to physically type it in because, again, you won't be able to predict how much a customer is going to deposit to you, whether it's 10%, 50%, or even 75%. I don't know. Or it's a flat rate of $100. We don't know. So that's why we have to manually type that number in. So once we have the customer deposit, right, for the $800, once everything looks good, you say, thank you for your business. And what I'm going to say is, customer deposit for customer deposit. Okay. So here, again, everything looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and save and close. Okay. So now we charge Miranda's Corner, right? Because it was a Visa payment. It's going to be right here in your deposit. So you can record the deposit whenever you'd like, okay? In this case, because it is a Visa credit card, you have to do the standard bank charges. But in this case, I'm just going to leave that deposit in there. I'm not going to go ahead and push it forward because it doesn't matter because the customer already paid me, okay? So then now, fast forward, let's say it is now time to bill them, okay? What I can do is I'm going to click on that invoice, okay? And I'm going to say, this is for Miranda's Corner. M-I-R. There you go, Miranda's Corner. And let's say this was the future event. So let's say they did do February 14, okay? This is, again, invoice number 2020-25. So then now it's going to ask me what kind of services did Miranda's Corner actually do for me. Okay, actually, never mind. It's already in the system. So, no. So I'm actually going to have to go into here and look up Miranda's Corner. So Miranda's Corner. Here you go. And here's the invoice 2025-103. Okay, so it already is created for me. So here's the services that Miranda's Corner has already billed me for. I'm sorry, asked me for services for. So that's why they wanted the customer deposit, or we wanted the customer deposit. So in this case, right, today is, okay, so it's billed for the 8th of March, for the billing of 2025-103. So what I'm going to do is, because Miranda, they gave me an $800 advance. So they gave me 50% of the job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the customer deposit. Okay? So once I add the customer deposit, I need to manually enter in what was the rate. In this case, it was for one deposit, and the rate is going to be $800 because I ordered, it was just one customer deposit. And what's going to happen here is it's going to say, well, so you're going to charge the customer an additional $800. No, you need to put negative, okay? And then that's going to show up on there, and now they owe significantly less, okay? All right? This doesn't change anything because in this case, I put the negative rate amount. That doesn't mean I am subtracting a customer deposit. It doesn't mean anything else. All right? This doesn't affect the account, but it only affects the total amount because in this case, I'm redeeming my customer deposit for negative $800. Okay? And as you can see, now that I have that, it does show me that there you go. I've already had an advance payment. I've already collected the money. So therefore, I need to subtract that money out from the actual invoice because they paid me in advance already. Right? And now everything looks good. Everything's calculated correctly. Again, it is a service. It is non-taxable, right? But the items that I have here are taxed already. So in this case, we do have a grand total. It was 16 something, but in this case, deposits are never taxed because it's just whatever they give me the money for. Okay, for the services that we are providing. Yes.
So we got the 800 because they pay us.
Yes.
The 800. Okay. And if they want like copy of this receipt, do we give them this copy or we give them different copy?
You have to give them a yes. So in this case, if I were to go to print and preview this, right, because I'm creating the estimate here, let me save this first. Okay. And let's say I want to send them a copy. I can go ahead and click print and I can go ahead and preview this. So then when on their end, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to show that they have the list of all the services. It's going to also show that they have the customer deposit right here, the advance payment for $800. So that means when I actually bill them, it's not for $1,697. It's for a total of $897. Yes? So this is what you're going to be sending your customers.
Oh yeah, it's look like when they send to us. Now I understand.
Okay,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. So close. All right. So once again, that's how you do customer deposits. Okay. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right, so that was customer deposits. We already went over what reports you can do for this. So estimates and jobs, you just click on that one. Last section, or very, very, very last section, it's so small, is sales orders. Now, again, sales orders and estimates are identical, okay? They're identical because at the end of the day, it's just someone that's just ordering something from you, okay? The only difference is whether you use an estimate versus a sales order is one of them is a guaranteed sale and the other one is a potential sale. Okay, so estimates, as we've mentioned many times before, it's a potential sale, as in you're not gonna be, it's not gonna be something that you're gonna get automatically, right? It's where you give your customers options. Do you want this service? Do you want me to do the job for you? Okay, and they must agree on it for you to go ahead and convert it into an invoice. Okay, in this case, this is where a customer decides to call you up and say, I want this on this day and this day, send me the bill. So in this case, a sales order is when it's a guaranteed sale, meaning, okay, they may buy something from you. So usually if it's a person who has been using services from you before, you would use sales orders, right? It's a returning customer saying, I want this, this, and this. I want it on this date, send me the bill. It's a guaranteed sale, okay? So that means it makes it that much easier. So again, it's the same exact thing. Now here's what you need to know. You can only do sales orders in Premier and Enterprise. You cannot do it in Pro, okay? Which is really weird because if you can do purchase orders, I don't understand why you can't do, or if you can do estimates, for some reason you can't do sales orders. Now, sales orders could also be used in case you have back stock, right? Let's say a customer decides to order something from you, but you don't have it available, okay? If you don't have it available, what you're going to do is you're going to back order it, and then you're going to send the customer a sales order, because what you're doing is you are saying, okay, it is a guaranteed sale, but right now, I do not have the equipment, the inventory, or whatever it is. I do not have what you want. But what I can do is I can write you a rain check. So when it does arrive, I can go ahead and bill you when it comes. That's another reason that you can use a sales order for, is if you don't have the items available, you can submit a sales order, and then when you have the items available, you could go ahead and send it to your customer. All right. So again, that is that. Okay. So that's the difference between what it is. It does not show you an example because if it says right here, it is similar to estimates. So everything that you did for estimates is going to be the same for sales order, but the only difference is knowing the difference of when to use which one. So one of them, potential sale, sales order, guaranteed sale. Okay? And that is it for chapter 13. So let's go ahead and go over the review questions here. So number 1, we're going to select the best answers for each of the following. So number 1, estimates help you do what?
Is it A and B? D, number D.
Okay, yes, letter D, both A and B. So let's take a look at A. It helps you track your future sales. Yes, because they're potential sales, right? And then B says to track how you your actual revenues and actual costs of compared with what could have been. Yes, that is true, right? Because again, it's a potential sale. Is it a guaranteed sale? No, but you can compare, like if you were to have that potential sale, right? You could compare what you actually got. Okay. Number 2, okay. Creating an invoice from an estimate.
Is it A?
Let's take a look at A. Okay. Has little or no effect on the actual financial statements since estimates do not post to the general ledger. In this case, the question was asking creating an invoice from an estimate. That would be true if you're creating an estimate for letter A, but that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you creating an invoice from an estimate.
C can affect the PL.
Let's
Because-
see. Can affect the P&L, which is profit and loss, because creating an estimate lists creating estimates itself affects the profit and loss. In this case, again, this isn't asking a question about estimates. So in this case, it doesn't necessarily affect profit and loss because it's an estimate. Estimates are non-posting. So does that affect profit and loss? No, because you didn't generate any revenue when it comes to estimates.
We have
So
just
repeat the answer D.
D.
D, okay, let's see what the answer for D is. Can take up to several hours because it may be difficult to locate the create invoice button on the estimates. Is that true? It's at the top of the window. It's always going to be there. It's not going to be difficult to locate the button. So in the case, is that even true at all?
The answer is B then.
The answer is B, right? It eliminates the need to manually enter in the estimates for it. So if you remember, right, I told you this. Instead of going into invoice and having to put it in manually, which again, QuickBooks recognizes if you just type in that person, right? Are you trying to convert information from an estimate? By building an estimate makes it 10 times faster to plug it into an invoice. So B is for surely the correct answer. In this case, it eliminates the time that you need to do to manually enter in an invoice because you already have the information in the estimate. All right. Number 3, which statement is false? Okay, so which one is not?
C.
Letter C. Good. Okay, progress invoicing can create an invoice for the entire estimate. Example, no progress invoicing. Okay, but only after the estimate is closed. In this case, you never close out your estimates. Okay, you will never close out your estimates unless you choose to physically manually go in there and delete them. But again, estimates does nothing to your company. It only helps you keep track of the customers that are potential customers, right? So in this case, right, progress invoicing, yes, it can create an invoice for the entire thing, but it doesn't necessarily depend on closing out on the estimate. Your estimates will never close out. Okay? Because those estimates can always stay open by you just clicking on it. So in this case, that is correct. This is the statement that is false. Okay, but the other ones are all true. Okay. Number 4, okay, after the customer approves the estimate, that you can create the following forms, okay, using QuickBooks Premier, Accountant, or Enterprise.
C.
See, this is number 4, which is both A and B. So A is purchase orders and sales orders. Yes, because again, I mentioned this before, sales orders and purchase orders are only available through the Premier Accountant and Enterprise. You cannot do it if you have Pro. Okay. So number 5, okay, you should usually use the create purchase orders, okay, for selected items button when creating purchase orders from estimates. Because why would you need to do that? Why would you need to select specific items when creating purchase orders?
What number are you on, Lynn?
We're on number 5.
5. It's D.
All right, Brian says it's D. It is rare that you will include all the services items on the purchase order or acquire, all of the items that you have saved from that same vendor. That is correct. D is correct. Okay. You again, when we talked about that, right? Can you buy a service from a vendor? Maybe you can, maybe you don't have to, but in this case, you will most likely not be able to purchase everything, right? So the example that I had for Maria Cruz, right? I couldn't purchase premium photo packages because that's what we provide. But what I could do is, out of the list of the items that we were creating the estimate for, is purchase the custom frames. So in this case, D is the correct answer. You may not need to select all the items that are listed, or they might not all come from the same vendor. Okay. Number 6, you can view estimates.
I'm going to say D, because there's 6 ways that you can get to it. So
Okay.
we'll go with D.
Good. It is D, all of the above. So A says in the customer center. Yes, you can, right? There's 3 ways that you could do that in the customer center, whether it's new transactions, right click, or manage transactions, okay? B says on the estimates by job report. This is number 6, right? I did not know you could do that. Okay, in customers, was it on the estimates by job report? Okay, maybe you could do that. Yeah, I believe you can. C says on the jobs estimates versus actual accrual, summary report. Okay. Oh, you can view estimates. Okay, yeah. I thought it was creating estimates. No, yeah. You can view, yes. You can view all of these. Yes, for customers center, we got the transaction list, right? If you the transaction tab, you click on that, you click on estimates, you can view all the estimates there. And then yes, the other two for sure because you're running a report on them. Of course you're going to be able to view them. So, yes, D all of the above. Yes. Okay. Number 7, if you want to see a list of your estimates for all of your jobs, create what?
B.
B is correct. You're going to be creating an estimates by jobs report. Okay. Number 8, which statement is true?
Is it A?
Good, right? To track open and closed estimates as they relate to the billings. Okay, you're gonna be using the job estimates versus the accruals summary report. Yes, that is true. Okay, because again, when we talked about open estimates and closed estimates, what we're saying is open is going to be any active estimates that you're currently working on, and closed ones would be just the ones that you created but you just never touch after a while, right? If you use this report, it shows you, it compares out of all the estimates that you actually created, which one actually were actual sales, which one did they actually become like actual sales, okay? And you're comparing and contrasting the estimates from there, okay? But in this case, you normally would never close out your estimates unless stated otherwise. You have a potential customer, but it's been years, then yes, you can actively close that. Okay. But again, all the other ones are false, so none of them are true, except for A. Number 9, okay? For general ledger activities, sales orders closely resemble which other form in QuickBooks?
B.
B is correct. Estimates, yes. Okay. Number 10, if you do not have enough stock on hand, okay, to fill an order, okay, you can do what?
A.
A, right? Create a
Is
purchase.
it B? Oh.
No. A is correct because remember, I mentioned this very last minute about 5 minutes ago. You can use sales orders to for back stock, right? If a customer says I want this, right, but you don't have it available, you can create a sales order, and from there, right, because it acts exactly like an estimate, you can go ahead and order that for that particular customer, and then order extra again for your company. So yes, you can create purchase orders from that sales order, okay? If you do not have the stock available. So A is correct. All right. Number 11, if you wish to create multiple purchase orders from a single estimate.
D.
D says select the create purchase orders and then select the items button and then create the purchase orders based on the sales transaction window. So remember when we have that when we so let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. So if I go here and I click on, what was it, Maria Cruz? Or actually, let me open up that estimate. So I think it was it this one? Photo paper, customers. Okay, this one. If I were to click purchase orders, right? Create a purchase order. It's going to say, do you want to do all of them or do you want to just select the items? Okay, if I click select items, it's going to allow me how many purchase orders am I going to make? Well, if I do end up saying I have custom frames, I have X amount of items, I can pick and choose how many purchase orders I can create. So in this case, by selecting the items, I can have a list of a whole bunch of items that I may have or may not have, right? And be able to create multiple purchase orders that way. Okay, and it would just pop up multiple purchase order forms. Okay, so in this case, yes, letter D is correct, where you're going to just select them on the available options by selecting the sales transactions window. Okay, all right, so this one's a short chapter, like I mentioned before, so this one doesn't have all 15 questions, it only has 11. So any questions in regards to chapter 13?
No.
No.